Rowan Ramsey, member for Grey, thanks for joining us on Flow.
Yeah, good to be with you, Ricky. Good morning.
Rowan, I understand you're excited about a hydrogen opportunity in Whyalla.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of things coming together here, Ricky. The federal government had put some cards on the table quite some time ago and put $70 million up for the development of a hydrogen hub somewhere in Australia. And there's been a lot of interest. In fact, there's, I think, 7 bids in now from all of the states, one each, and one from Northern Territory. And with all that interest, they've decided to actually go the next step and put some more money on the table, another $275 million, and aim for 5 hydrogen hubs. Now, the reason that excites me, of course, is because it greatly increases their chances of getting one. And the state government has already announced some investment decisions around Whyalla with the upgrading of the jetty facility at Port Bonython, and investing with a mob called H2U, which are an Australian company developing hydrogen capacity at the moment. So there's already some runs on the board or some foundations in the soil, if you like, in Whyalla, and so I think that's where the push is on, and I'm very supportive of that, and really hoping that we can get this over the line.
Yeah, there seems to be this sort of bidding war between the two major parties in politics about hydrogen at the moment. Is it a technology that's actually being used to generate electricity at this point in time?
Look, I always sound a little note of caution on this. There are countries around the world that are investing heavily in hydrogen in one way or another, and the most notable is Japan, that is actually gearing itself up to use hydrogen in its platforms, in its electricity generation, for instance, and it needs to be supplied with hydrogen. So there's a lot of effort around the world now to, certainly from our point of view, to get into that supply market. Now, we're already major gas suppliers to Japan and a whole host of other markets, so we've got these natural links, and hydrogen, I've done some, I don't have them in front of me, but some back-of-the-envelope calculations about its capacity to compete with fossil fuels. When it comes to transport fuel, it's right in the market. If we can get it down to our stated aim of about $2 a kilogram. At $2 a kilogram, it makes sense to put in your truck or your car or whatever. So that is good space.
So to convert it into fuel, I mean, is it something? It's not like coal, for instance, where you burn it and you generate, you can generate electricity out of that. Is there another form of electricity generation required to split the hydrogen and to convert it into fuel?
Well, there are a couple of things you can do. Hydrogen is a flammable gas, and it can be mixed with natural gas, and you can do that on reticulated systems, for instance. But there are also hydrogen fuel cells where you can, if you wish, you can avoid the need for an internal combustion engine altogether, is my understanding, and I'm not the expert on it, Ricky, so
we're both lay people here. We're getting our heads around it, but everyone's talking about it in state politics in South Australia, for instance, so I guess everyone's going to have to get full bottle on it pretty quickly.
But my word of caution is that I think the technology is developing quickly, but people who try and put timelines on, we're going to be there in 5 years' time, I tell people just to remember the money, the taxpayers included, invested in hot rock technology. And 10 years, 12 years ago, everybody was talking about hot rocks and we were going to run the whole of Australia on hot rocks.
Yep.
But it didn't happen. The costs were prohibitive in the end. I'm more confident about this, but one thing is if you don't invest in it and give it a red-hot go, you're not going to find out. So, and the great thing about the Whyalla side, of course, is that we have an owner of the steel plant there. Sure, we've got a few issues at the moment, but has expressed a strong interest in developing environmental steel or green steel and using hydrogen in the process. And that is also one of our 5 pillars of our energy policy, is that we want to invest in the possibility of developing a green steel industry there. I think having the hydrogen capacity on site, it's already surrounded by copious amounts of renewable electricity. Ticks a lot of boxes. I reckon we're a goer.
Now, I have to ask, because it's come up on the station recently about a proven technology that is sort of seeming to be sitting on the sidelines here, and when we look at the uranium reserves within your own electorate that are quite substantial, we're a superpower when it comes to uranium stocks in South Australia. Nuclear or small modular nuclear reactors, Why is that sitting on the sideline in these debates? That we've talked, you mentioned hot rocks and even hydrogen, not yet a fully proven technology, but we know nuclear is. Why is that being left on the sideline?
Well, firstly, it's illegal in Australia. It would need an act of parliament to change it, and that was a compromise that John Howard had to reach to get the new Opal reactor up in Lucas Heights all those years ago. And there's been times when I thought maybe we could have that debate sensibly in Australia, but I believe it has been used as a tool of division by the left for so long that the water is so muddy it's difficult to have a sensible conversation about nuclear power. On small modular reactors, and I had a it's a few years ago now, but I had a very good look at nuclear power generation some years ago when we went to France, Sweden and Finland. My understanding was with the small modular nuclear reactors is that they look pretty good on paper at the moment, but no one's actually got a production line of them. Now, that's a little bit like hydrogen. We're not quite there yet. I
understand, sort of mid-2020s. It's not far off, they say, but hydrogen...
But bearing in mind in this place we've been going to have Gen 5 reactors, that they'll be 20 years away for 20 years.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my flying car, Rowan.
Yeah, that's it. You could be one of the Jetsons. So I am fundamentally a supporter of nuclear energy. I think in Australia it is missing from our energy makeup. But it is a political argument that can only be put forward by the left of politics, and we will support them. If we put it forward, they'll cut us off at the knees. That's my opinion. And we will lose elections over it and put the case for nuclear energy back another 20 years. And I don't think that's a productive way to go. Because one thing you do need if you're going to build nuclear industry of any sort is rock-solid bipartisan support. And so if we can get the Labor Party over the line, I'm very confident the coalition side of politics will support it. But it's a question that needs to be put to the Labor Party.
Yep. Well, I think maybe given what's happening in the Upper Hunter and where Labor's shifting on coal, maybe there's hope for that in the future as well.
Well, maybe there has been in the past with people like Martin Ferguson and Simon Creamer in the Parliament. They're no longer there.
Yeah.
And Fukushima put nuclear energy back a long way. Around the world, but certainly in Australia.
Yeah, well, we could talk about that further another time, but look, we thank you very much, Rowan, for your time today. I know you've been a bit squeezed today. That's great.
No, that's great. Thanks, Rick. It's good to be talking.